As we saw at the end of the last movie, InDesign provides a list of every object on each spread in the Layers panel. You can find that by going up to the Layers panel and clicking on the little twirly triangle next to the layer name. At the end of the last movie, I reverted my document, so now I'm back to the original document that has only one layer in it. So why don't I go ahead and create one more layer by Option or Alt-clicking and typing text in it. I'll click OK by pressing Return or Enter, and I'm going to move all of my text frames up onto that layer. The names listed under the layer in the Layers panel gives me a clue about what the object is. For example, rectangle is going to be one of the unassigned rectangular shapes on my page. Text frames are a little bit different. Text frames listed in the Layers panel show you a little piece of the story, just the beginning of the story, so you can identify what's what. Graphics, on the other hand, actually list out the name of the picture, the name of the file as it appears on disk. So in this case, I want to place all my text frames on my new layer, so I'm going to select them in the Layers panel. I'll select the first one, and then hold down the Command key on the Mac or Control key on Windows and select the others. The Command or Control key means select discontiguous items in a list, that is, items that are not next to each other. Now I can drag all of these up to the text layer, but first I have to open the text layer twirly triangle so that it can receive them. I'll drag them up until I see that dark black bar, let go, and all of them are now moved up to the text layer. I'm also going to move this orange frame down here, so I select it on my page, and I can see that it's highlighted. It has this little blue proxy square there, and that's how I know which item it is inside my Layers panel. It might actually be helpful for me to change this from rectangle to some other name, and you can do that in the Layers panel by clicking on it. I know that seems a little bit strange, but that's the standard for renaming things. Click, pause, and then click. It highlights, and I'm going to call this Orange Box. That way, I'll always know what it is. I'll press Enter or Return, and now I can drag this up to my text layer as well. Unfortunately, I dragged a little bit too high, so it's on top of this text frame. I'll drag it down a little bit so it's underneath that text frame. There we go. If you're familiar with Adobe Illustrator, you probably know that Illustrator calls each of these things sublayers. I don't understand why. To me, they're just objects on a layer. There's a few more things I can do inside the Layers panel that I want to show you. First, if I can't easily select an object on the page, for example, perhaps it's behind other objects and it makes it difficult to select, it's easy to select just by clicking on this little box on the right column. So, for example, this selects that text frame, or if I want to select this image, I can simply click on that, and that image is selected on the page. Also, I can hide objects on the page just by clicking on the little eyeball next to them. So, for example, if I don't want to see this Studying at Rue text frame, I can simply click that button and it disappears. That way I don't accidentally click on it and I can work on objects that are behind it. Click the button again and it comes back. As you can probably tell, I'm a fanatic for having total control over each and every object on my page. After all, without control, how can you manage your design? This ability to expand the Layers panel will really help you, especially when you're working with complex layouts.